back outside in the polytunnel again, and it's the end of February, and it's been the wettest start of a year that I can remember, and I'm not that old, of course, but it's been so wet the last few weeks, months even, just non-stop rain, so work outside has been slow to say the least. And again, outside you can see polytunnel there is covered in rain and wind, but here inside the polytunnel we've had great results. I'm very happy. Behind me I have some broccoli, and you can see at the tip here the emergence of a head of broccoli, and that's very exciting to see, because this time last year I didn't have a polytunnel, let alone broccoli to look after. But during the summer months of 2025 I tried to grow broccoli outside, but sadly caterpillars got to it and devoured it before it even had a chance to grow. So here inside the polytunnel, it's been well protected and sheltered over the winter months, and now that there's an increase in temperature, everything is starting to take off, so it's very exciting, and you can sense the beginning of new life, connected with spring and all that's to come, and the busyness that is to come. And of course, from being so busy, you are well rewarded with the amount of produce that you can harvest each day and enjoy. So it's all worth it in the end. I'll take a quick little walk around and you can see for yourself the growth and how it has come along from month to month. And also it's a little bit of a diary for myself, or it keeps me on track each month to see the changes over time, and it's lovely, beautiful. So to start with, we have our cabbage coming along nicely. Next to that we have our sweet pea. It's really starting to climb at this time of the year. We have some beetroot, all doing well. Some carrot, fennel, followed by some cauliflower. Really healthy leaves there. I know some of them, they look maybe like they could do with a little bit more space, but I had planted them out and they had started to develop into seedlings, and I didn't want to throw any away, so I planted them all. I think I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 in that little area, so next year I might space them out a bit better. Here we have the broccoli is really starting to take off, and very exciting growth there at the top. You can see the little broccoli head starting to emerge. There seems to be 2 on that one. All doing really well. So that's the first bed, giving you a little overview there of them all. Centre bed continues to do well. Salad greens are all thriving at this time, and at that I'm taking a good basket of them out of the polytunnel each day, so there's plenty in the last week or 2. I no longer have to buy any lettuce, I have plenty here, more than enough. And they're all doing really well. Lots of different varieties too, and that just ensures a different, I suppose, a range of nutrients going into the body, as opposed to just one brand of lettuce. These were spinach from last year, so I removed them and left the roots in the soil, but they started to regrow and I've left them as such. So these salad greens are all looking really well. We have fennel there starting to regrow, some rosemary, oregano in at the back, parsley is starting to regrow. Now I do like the rockets, so I'm cutting from that each day, but it's still coming back, and when that does start to grow, it grows quite vigorously. I found last year, well, particularly in the summer months, and it was nearly hard to keep up with it, and we're under pressure to keep it eaten and picked. Sage is starting to regrow. You can see it there. A few onions, salad onions. Then a variety of different types of salad, oriental salad. They're quite fine and delicate, some of them, but beautiful. Beautiful variety in a salad bowl. And the chicory is still thriving. I normally use that in a juice, but I haven't been juicing much, I found, over the winter. It's like my body is telling me to wait until I have enough in here in the polytunnel to take in and juice. I did great over the summer with the juicing the cucumbers and the greens, and the ones in the shop this year didn't appeal to me as much, so I think I'm happy to wait. So that's the polytunnel at the end of February. Big change from the start of the month. Even though the weather has been so miserable outside, the temperature is rising gradually, and that is reflected in the amount of growth that we can see here. I found calendula seeds starting to grow in the beds, so I removed them and repotted them, as I want to have a little bit more control as to where they grow within the polytunnel next year, and I might plant some outside as well. And we have this beautiful bowl of salad coming out of the polytunnel each evening. So feeling very blessed. Have such beautiful, organic, natural, wholesome food. Now the delivery, the much awaited delivery from Quick Crop, which is the grow light, has finally arrived. So looking forward to seeing the final product. And there it is, the grow light all set up, ready to go. It's great light coming from it underneath. I don't know if I can show you that. The bulbs underneath are very strong, and it's got capillary matting, which means that it will self-water. Once you fill it to a certain level within the tray, it will seep into the spillover of the capillary mat and bring water back underneath the growing trays. So great job, happy with that, and hopefully this year we'll have some very strong seedlings ready for planting once the temperature increases. These are the herbs and the seeds and the berries and the wildflowers that I am preparing to sow over the coming weeks. Very busy time of the year, February, so just setting up. I keep note of the seeds that I have in stock, where I got them from and when to plant them, and I just like to be organised, because once it gets going, I found even after 1 year it gets very busy very quickly. So just to know where things are and be organised and ready. I mainly purchase my seeds from Seed Ireland, and they're fantastic, really quick return and good quality seeds. And I also use Seedaholic, and I really like they give this little printout, a really detailed description of the plant and what its uses are, a little bit of the history of the plant, and also you'll see there information on when to sow, plant uses, companion plants. So a really detailed leaflet accompanies each little packet of seeds, and initially when I got them I thought, oh my god, there's hardly any seeds, but within each packet the seeds are so tiny. You'll see there's up to 125 seeds of borage, so it gives, for me, I don't plant them all in 1 year, so you get a few years out of them, even though I know they say seeds go out of date. I have used seeds which I purchased 4 or 5 years ago, and I grew them last year, and it was a great result. So just when you sow them out in trays, you can take from the tray then what actually manages to sprout and grow, and just discard the rest. But never throw away a packet of seeds, always just sow them out, and then you can retransplant them on into little grow cells once they've started to sprout. So there you have it. That's the collection of seeds. These are all kind of for the garden, either tomato and your lettuce and all the ones that are my salad seeds. And in these ones here I have a mixture of my fruit and berries, radish and spring onion, salad again, and more salad herbs. These are a few small packets of microgreens, of some broccoli in there, coriander, mixed radish, amaranth, and red kale. And they're specifically for salad as to grow as microgreens. And in here we have a collection of medicinal herbs, lots of beautiful herbs there, and I always wonder when I get the seeds, will I have enough space for them all, because they grow into quite big plants. They're all beautiful. Packets of edible flowers, which I intend to plant out this year, that should give a lovely spread. And also ornamental flowers, which I like to have in the garden, which is on the lawn, kind of separate to the garden with the food. So that's how I prepare, and in the coming few days I intend to get some of these started indoors. And now that I have the grow light, I'll show you what that setup looks like once it's up and running. So there you have it, the start of the growing season, and it's the 23rd of February 2026, and today's a very special day for me. It is my 3rd year anniversary of being fully raw plant-based. So yeah, it's been some journey, an amazing journey, and I thank God for it. So here we have the first seeds that I have planted out this evening into little trays. Some of these are just taken from leftovers of raspberries and strawberries. I always tend to hoard and keep, but I put them to good use at long last and planted in a range of medicinal herbs. Same again in the next tray, and then a mixture of vegetables and different types of food for the garden and the polytunnel. So it takes a little bit of time to organise yourself and know what it is that you want to plant out or test out. So it's only my my first year in April of using the Polytunnel, so it's all a learning curve, one which has been very rewarding so far, and that in itself is great motivation to keep going and believe that the coming year will be every bit as good, if not more bountiful, than the one that has just passed. So there you have it. I'm just going to cover them over with a black bin liner for a few days before I turn on the grow light. So I have a good range. I'm happy with what I've put out, and lots of work ahead of me now if these all start to germinate at the same time. But I'll wait till they're about, I suppose, up to around 5 centimeters in terms of growth and the height that they will reach over the coming weeks. And once they reach 5 centimeters, I'll be happy to transfer them into little cells, individual cells, so that they can grow on. And again, I might pot them out before putting them into their final beds. I'm just going to give these a little spray before I put them in. I'm just going to stack them here and cover them over. To leave them here to rest for 7 to 10 days, and I'm going to check on them frequently. Well, I'll check on them after about 3 or 4 days just to see if there's any signs of germination, and once I see those little green shoots coming through, I will remove the bin bag and leave them under the grow light until they reach a height of about 5 centimeters, at which point they should be hopefully strong enough to bring them out into the polytunnel. But I have to say, the weather here in Ireland at the moment is still very wet and extremely cold at times, so I want to ensure that they are strong enough, and the next step after the grow light will be the polytunnel, and from there we'll see how we go.